Flosstube, I'm back. Today I'm here for a 2024 plans video. So this is a Flosstube extra. I'm going to go through how I kind of organize projects that I've got in my stash and think about what I've got kitted and how I'm going to go about kind of picking what I work on in at least like the first half of 2024. So excited to get into it. I was posting on Instagram a couple of pictures of where I sit while I film, and I'll show them here in my some spots in my craft room, because I was waiting to start filming this for my husband to go out for a run. So he had been saying that he was gonna go in a minute for like an hour, and I was waiting for him to actually leave, because when he leaves the house, it's an old house, so things make noise. So I was waiting for that noisy process for like an hour. So he finally left. My kids are relatively occupied, so we'll see how this goes. So I have got, we're gonna kind of jump back and forth between my computer, which I'm gonna show you in a minute, and the projects that I've got lit up. This is one of the stacks of bags of projects that I have at least partially kitted that are upcoming choices. So just gonna show you all the things. So let's get into it. Actually, first what we're gonna do is we're gonna, first, I wanted to tell you, welcome. I said that. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm a pretty new Flosstuber, so I've done 2 regular Flosstubes so far. I'm filming this on December 31st. It's the last day of 2023. And I've done 2 regular Flosstubes so far, and an additional Flosstube extra that was about a local needlework store visit that I did. So yeah, so I'm super happy to have you here, especially as a newbie to this. It's really exciting to start to interact with people and feel like we're having these conversations about this hobby. So my name is Zoe. I live in Philadelphia. I am going to be turning 40 this year in May, which is bananas. I don't really have any plans related to that yet. And I'm an educator, and I think we'll leave that at that for right now. So let's get into the actual content. So first we're going to swing over onto my laptop, and I'm going to show you how I keep like notes and information organized to help me plan what I'm going to work on next, and so that I don't forget like what I've got available to me. So let's jump on over to my computer screen. All right, so this is my Google Sheet that I use to organize all of my cross-stitch related information for my projects, my like inventory or stash of what I've got already. And then I can kind of keep track of what I've got, what I need, where things are, that kind of thing. I'm a total spreadsheet nerd, so this kind of thing I love. It just works with my brain and makes me kind of happy. I'm also a person who I've got to like see what I've got, otherwise it doesn't exist and I won't use it. So this helps me see it without having to like dig through actual physical stash. So this spreadsheet has 3 tabs. So I've got project plans, thread inventory, fabric inventory. So let's jump over here to thread inventory. So this is actually the tab that this started with. I've had this particular spreadsheet, just this tab piece of it, for years. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure how long, but a number of years. And it started just as this one running list of all of the threads that I had. And I started out with DMC, as many of us do. So I've got tons of colors of DMC listed here. And it is a useful tool for when I need to kit up a new project or start a new project and I want to see if I've already got the stuff that I have, the stuff that the project calls for in my stash. So I've got it listed by brand and then by name or number of all the stuff I've got. And then like I can put notes like this one I'm planning to use for this particular project. This one I ordered on the 29th from 123 Stitch because it is the last thread that I need for one of the projects I've got mostly kitted. So just little notes to myself in here. So this is super helpful. And the rest of the spreadsheet has expanded from here. So I added a fabric inventory tab that I'm still kind of figuring out as I go. That is the stuff that I've got in my stash as far as fabric. I'm trying to use this to help me, again, like use what I have and not order duplicates of stuff, and see what I've got and what I'm thinking about, what projects I might want to do, or thinking about new projects. So that is the fabric inventory tab. And then the project plans is like the meat of how I'm planning what projects I'm going to do and knowing like sort of where things are. So one of the things I love about Google Sheets is that you can filter or you can sort the columns. So in here, I've got the pattern name, the designer, the format that I have it in, whether it's like a hard copy printed thing or a PDF thing. If it's a PDF, I have a link to the actual PDF file in my Google Drive so I can get to it quickly. I have kind of gave them theme names, which is something I'm still kind of figuring out, but those correlate to the folders of patterns that I have in my Google Drive, the status of where it is, where it's at as far as being kitted. This is a newer thing. Trying to keep track of what fabric I've assigned to that project, what thread I use, any substitutions that I might have made, and then I'm just starting to track when I started things and when I finished them, and then any additional notes. So that's this tab. So this is what I use to figure out what I want to work on. So you can see, like, I've got this status. It's right now it's sorted by status. So I've got the things that I completed recently. I've got, since I just started this tab in the last, like in November, I think, that I don't have that much completed stuff on here because it's only, I didn't go back that far. It's only stuff I've really completed since I started it. The 3 projects that I currently have in progress, my WIPs. And then I just throw this word next by things that I'm kind of interested in maybe doing coming up. Like I said before, I'm a visual person, so seeing things helps me make decisions about what I want to do. So I also went through and added in images of projects so that I can kind of remind myself, like if I'm looking at I don't know, like horsing around, like what is my little house needleworks, like what does that project look like? Oh, I can just hover over it and it gives me like a little preview of part of the project, and so that helps me think about what I want to do and when I might want to do it. So I could also sort by like theme, for example, if I wanted to look at all the like Christmas stuff that I have. And that's one thing I'm not going to really talk about at all in this video is Christmas projects, because I'm kind of done with that for this season. I'll come back to it in the winter. But yeah, so that is helpful in terms of figuring out what I want to work on based on whether I'm feeling like a seasonal project or a particular theme or whatever. So all these things marked next, they're obviously not all immediate next, but they're things that I want to work on soon. By soon, I mean in the next couple of months, potentially. And then I've marked, oh, I have a bunch of stuff on order. The disclaimer, I have ordered a bunch of stuff that's kind of expensive recently, and I feel a little weird about that, but there was a long period of time where, you know, budgeting was really, really tight for our family. And we have finally gotten to the place through both my husband's work and my work where we've like gotten to a place, I guess, in our careers where we're making a little bit more money and we have a little bit more flexibility in our budget. So I took a little bit of advantage of that recently and splurged on a bunch of kits. So I have a bunch of those that should be coming. That's sort of like my Christmas presents that should be coming in the next couple of weeks. And so that's what on order mostly refers to, is kits that I ordered that are Christmas presents for this year. So then under kitted, I keep track of whether I've got everything that I need in the project bag or not, or whether I've ordered some things. So like this one, I ordered the threads and they're not here yet. Or this one, I need to figure out what fabric. So this helps me think, okay, if I'm looking to start a new project, I can come in here and think, okay, these are the ones I said I wanted to maybe do next. This one is already kitted up, so maybe that's one that I want to start. Take a little look at the picture, be like, yes, that's the next one I want to do, and throw that into my in progress section. So that's more or less how this spreadsheet works. So let's dive back out of the computer. All right, so now we're going to run through the actual projects that I have that I'm thinking about doing. And so like I said, the way that I picked this is it's not like a specific order. It's more like this is the pool of projects that I feel like I probably want to do in the upcoming months. And then once I'm ready to start a new project, I'll run back through what I've got available and just pick one and go from there. So what I'm not going to show you right now is my WIPs, because we've already talked about those in other videos, in the regular Flosstube videos. But the 3 WIPs that I've got that are in my plans to finish soon-ish in 2024 are Tapestry by Ink Circles, which I think I'm at least a quarter of the way through, maybe a little bit more than a quarter of the way through. Paving for These Times by Long Dog Sampler. This one I think I'm about like 40 to 45% through. And then Fiona Rutherford, which is a sampler from The Wishing Thorn that I think I'll be able to finish in the next week, probably, if not sooner, depending on how much time I spend sitting on working on it. So those are my 3 whips. So now let's get into what I've got, and I'm gonna go in kind of size order, not super, I didn't like look at the stitch counts or anything or the dimensions, but roughly size order. And this will include both things that I've got physically in my project bags as well as digital stuff that I'll show you on the screen, or like things that are on order. All right, so first I've got Turkish Delight, which is by Rosewood Manor. And so I unzipped all the zippers, but there will still be some crinkling. Sorry about that. This is Turkish Delight. It is this super beautiful sampler kind of, I don't know how to describe it. To me, it looks sort of like a rug almost, which maybe is where the name comes from. Beautiful, beautiful. I decided to do it on this 36 count stone linen. The pink is beautiful. I love that. I think it's really cool. But it's just not like my vibe for the way that I put stuff up in my house. I do love it. It is beautiful. It's super fun. So, you know, I'm still questioning that decision a little bit, but I think it'll look great on this stone, and that'll be more in line with everything else that I've got going on. So I've got this bag of extra floss, because some of the stuff you need more than one skein. But this is the kitted up called for floss, which is Weeks Dye Works. So I think that'll be super beautiful. The stone fabric along with those colors, I think it's going to be really pretty. Definitely not as like vibrant as with this pink fabric, but I think it'll be pretty. So that is one of the potential next projects, one I definitely want to start in the first half of 2024. And what I like to do as I'm working on projects is right now I tend to have like 3-ish whips going at once. I like to have one that's monochromatic, one that's sort of like a larger piece. So for right now, that's tapestry for me. And then maybe like a smaller piece or 2 that I'm also working on. So the next one I want to show you is Seasons of the Heart by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. I showed this in the haul video from the shopping trip that I took recently because I got it at that local needlework store. This has got 4 patterns in the book. So it's got the spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Super beautiful. I am on a kick of like seasonal series right now, so you'll see a couple others as we go through these patterns. Depending on like when I get started on these, I may start some of them with the winter if it's something that I think I'll be able to finish, but I'm leaning more towards spring stitching at this point. So I don't know which one exactly I'll start with. The materials for this, I'm doing the materials as called for in the booklet, which is Vintage Country Mocha Linen 40 count, and then a variety of threads of different kinds. Those are, I order them. They should arrive in the next week, I would say. So that is Seasons of the Heart by Brenda Gervais. Next up, I have Two Men's Morris, and I store all of my kits in these cheapo Amazon bags, which I know some people hate. I really like them because, again, I like to be able to see like a little bit through them to see what I've got. Again, I'm a visual person. That's helpful for me. And then I stuck these little business card holder thingies on them so that I could put my little cards that have the info in there. And then I'll, you know, when I change projects, I can just pull out the card and put a new card in. They stick okay. They don't stick like amazingly well. So you have to be a little bit careful when you're like getting stuff in and out, because you could peel it off if you wanted to, but works for me. Anyway, this is Two Men's Morris. I'll put a picture on the screen for this one because I don't have it printed out. And this is another monochrome. Let me move the other bags out of the way. It's another monochrome from Long Dog Samplers. So this is my monochrome project that I plan to start once I'm done with Pavane for these times. And I have not figured out what fabric I want to use for this yet, but I think I am going to use wrought iron from the Gentle Art. Although I got these two skeins of it, and they must be like different dye lots, because they are like noticeably different. So I would need to go buy more and kind of look at the dye lots, or like alternate back and forth. And I'm also thinking about doing this in silk. So this one's not really kitted. It's still very up in the air, but it is my next monochrome project that I want to start. So I'll have to figure that one out sooner than later. Next up, I mentioned this one in my last Flosstube video, which was Flosstube number 2. This is Dover Sampler. I am obsessed. I heard about this on Flosstube from Southern Yankee Stitcher, and found it. It's from a DVD of quarterly magazine issues. I talked about it in Flosstube number 2. If you want to check that out, I'll put the card up in the corner for you. Anyway, I'm totally obsessed with this. I love it. I ordered all of the materials for this. I ordered 2 different potential fabrics for it because I wasn't quite sure. I want to do like a dark greenish tealish color, which is what it calls for, but I didn't want to use the called for fabric, so I ordered 2 different hand-dyed fabrics to check out once I get all the materials and kind of figure out what I'm going to start. Maybe I'll do a little series when I start this one because I'm obsessed with this pattern. So this is Dover Sampler. I'm going to do it on 36 count, and I'm going to use the called for DMC. So it's just the fabric that I've got to figure out for this one. Next up is, okay, a couple that I don't have physically, so I'm going to put pictures on the screen as I talk through these ones. So first is Mighty Acorn, which is by Blackbird Designs. I got this one as a kit, so the whole kit is coming. I do kind of like shopping for stuff, but I also, for like kitting up things myself, but also like, I'm on winter break right now. But usually I work pretty long hours, and, you know, I've got kids and my husband and stuff to do. So it is pretty nice to be in a place where I can now order a bunch of kits for kind of like bigger projects that I really want to do and that are really beautiful, but I don't want to deal with kitting it myself. So I ordered Mighty Acorn as a kit. I also ordered Mary Haven's 1837, which is from Erica Michaels Needle Art Designs. That's also a kit that should be coming soonish. I also have Rejoice Evermore coming as a kit, which is Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And then in a separate order, I ordered Painted Flowers, which is smaller piece, which is by Shakespeare's Peddler. And so those are just 4 additional projects that I'll have full kits for when they arrive that will go into my options for my upcoming projects. All right, so back to the bags. Next up, I've got Love Abide, which is by La Di Da. I saw this on a Flosstube, but I'm so sorry, I can't remember which Flosstube it was. And the person who was doing it is only doing part of it. I think they might only be doing like this scene right here. So omitting the like words at the top, and I think they're also omitting the alphabet. I think I'm going to do something kind of similar, but only omit the words at the top and keep the alphabet at the bottom. Yeah. I don't know if that'll feel like unbalanced. So I'm probably going to work my way up and then decide after I've got the scene if I want to add the alphabet in or not. But yeah, so that's the plan for this one. Love Abide by La Di Da. This one I do want to start. This is like higher up in my mental next list. For this one, I'm going to use 36 count flax linen, which is this. And then I'm using all of the called for floss, which is a combination of like fancy floss and DMC. And I've got it all set up on this card. So this one is ready to go. Kind of excited. So pretty. So those are the colors, as you can kind of see them up against flax. That's Love Abide. Okay, next up is Sail Away. I unzipped them all and then I forgot that I unzipped them. So this is Sail Away from By the Bay needle art. And I love sailboats. My maternal grandparents lived on a sailboat in the Cayman Islands. My maternal grandfather was a doctor, like a primary care physician, and they would travel from island to island. That's where my maternal grandmother's family is, from that area. So unfortunately, well, they no longer had the sailboat by the time that I was born. My maternal grandfather passed away when I was a baby. But my maternal grandmother lived with us when I was a kid. And so we just talked to, sailboats are just a thing, like, in our family. And I love them. So this one definitely caught my eye. And I'm excited to do this project. I love the sort of like blockier imagery in this too. So this is Sail Away. I am going to do this on 32 count star sapphire linen, which is this really pretty sort of like bluish green. This is the called for fabric, but it calls for a 28 count, and I'm doing it on 32 instead. And then I'm choosing all the called for DMCs. So this is the color scheme. It's gonna be so pretty. This is another one. This one and Love Abide are high up on my list to start sooner than later. This might make me become one of those people who has way more whips going at once, because I'm so excited about some of these projects. All right, we'll grab another stack of bags here. Okay, so next project is Flirting Turkeys, which is by Miss Prim. There is a printout just from my home printer of the picture. So this is obviously like a Thanksgiving fall pattern. I don't know why I love this so much, but I do. I don't love a lot of like turkey fall themed patterns, but this one, I just really like it. So my plan is to do 2 of these. I'm gonna finish them into, I don't know how I'm gonna finish them. I'm thinking maybe like a flat fold or a cushion, to be determined. But I want to make one for some family members who host the whole extended family for Thanksgiving every year. And then I just love it so much that I also want one for myself. I don't know if I'll get to 2 this year, probably just 1 this year, but I am making sure that I have enough materials for 2. So Flirting Turkeys, I am planning to do this on, which fabric am I going to do it on? Let's see. 32 count Heartland, which is what is the called for fabric. I'm not sure if that's the called for count, but that is, I think it is. I think it's exactly the same. Heartland is the called for fabric for sure. That's on order, hasn't arrived yet. Oh, I do have a piece of, this is 40 count Heartland though, so you can see what it looks like. So it'll be 32 count for this actual project though. So super pretty. And then these are the called for flosses. So it's a combination of, we've got some classic color work, some gentle art, some weeks, and then some DMCs. So I just got the last color that I needed of these, this, and it's all ready to go. Oh man, there's a lot of stuff I'm really excited about this year. So this one, might be like a summertime project if I want to have it done closer to Thanksgiving. But I just love it. I feel like that's going to be the refrain for all of them, because that's why I have them, because I love them. So next is also called Seasons of the Heart, like that Brenda Gervais one, but it's a different series, different designer. So I have all 4 of these Seasons of the Heart by the Blue Flower. I got them from Primitive, what is it called? Punch Needle and Primitive Stitching, is that what it's called? The magazine. If you get a certain digital subscription, you can get all of the back issues of the magazine digitally, so that's what I did. And all 4 of these are available in the magazine, along with a lot of other really cool projects. I think I'm gonna start with winter, maybe, depending on when I start, or maybe spring. I have spring right here as well. So this is spring, so I've got winter and spring, and I have the other 2 just not nearly kitted up because it'll be a while before I get to the next one. I kitted them up, so I've got the fabrics. So for winter, I am using, this is 40 count Picture This plus pewter, and I don't remember what it calls for in the pattern. I think it's 40 count, but these are, I can't remember if these are the called for fabrics or not. And then for spring, this is definitely not the called for fabric, but I couldn't figure out, like the picture didn't match what I was finding when I was looking for the fabric. So I just decided to kind of pick my own. So I got this one, which is 40 count, Picture This plus Murmur, which is going to be the spring fabric. And I got these both at Ye Old Cross Stitchery when I was there, as discussed in my first Flosstube Extra video. So I think those will be really pretty for both of those. And they call for DMC. So I have all the colors in my stash. I'm waiting for a couple more of those floss organizer cards, which are supposed to be coming today. And then I will kit these up with the DMC. Sometimes I use floss drops, as you've seen, and sometimes, depending on like the number of colors, I like to use those cards where all the stuff is on one card, especially if it's all DMC. So that's what I'm going to plan on do for these two projects. So I've got everything in my stash, just waiting on those last cards to get them fully kitted. After those, still thinking kind of springy, I also got 3 different seasonal designs sort of in the same vein from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. So this one is called Love Spring at Pansy Patch Manor. I didn't get all of the Pansy Patch Manor series. I got, and I'm not calling them in my spreadsheet their actual names, but I got this one, which I call in my spreadsheet Spring House. I got, let's see if I can find the other ones. I got a Christmas one, which is called, I have it called Christmas House in my spreadsheet. It is actually, what is that? Oh, that's the name. It's from the Peppermint Houses on Peppermint Lane series. I'll throw a picture up here just so you can see what that looks like. And then I also got Acorn House, which is, it's from another series. It's from the Houses on Pumpkin Lane series, and I'll throw a picture of that one up too. There wasn't a summer one that from this designer that I loved, so I haven't found a summer one for that series yet, for this series of projects. My intention is to frame them probably, or do cushions, but they would be switched out in the same spot in my home each season. So I would like to find a summer one, but I haven't found one that I love yet. So I'll keep an eye out as new designs are released. Anyway, I got all of those. I'm planning to probably start with spring. So that's this project right here. I'm gonna do it on 36 count Winter Moon, which is my favorite, like neutral, like non-hand dyed fabric. Has a lot of colors in it, a lot of different types of fancy floss between like Weeks, Gentle Art, and I think there's some Classic Colorworks in here too. So it's I've got them all here as called for. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera. My tripod's not here yet. soon, I promise. I got that all kitted up as called for. So I think that'll be so pretty on this fabric. So that's that one. And so for these digital patterns, I work from Pattern Keeper. I don't, put this away, functional. I don't print them. So I wasn't printing the photos either, but I did start doing that as I was starting to put together these kits, just so I could have it like in the bag as a, again, visual person, just as a helpful visual for myself. Okay, next stack, where are we? All right, we talked about those spring ones, Seasons of the Heart. Okay, so the next set are another set of kits. So I'm going to tell you about those and show you the pictures on the screen. So again, I splurged. My husband and I don't really do Christmas presents between ourselves. And my mother passed away 2 years ago, 3 years? It's been, oh my gosh, it's been 3 years, 3 years ago in December. But she was, like, I guess the biggest gift giver to me in my life. And my dad doesn't, he's also ill right now. So anyway, gifts, like, we don't do like a lot of physical gifting. Like my husband did get me a really awesome book about weaving on small looms. So I do a lot of different fiber arts. I've got a rigid heddle loom that I learned how to use this year that I love. And I've got a couple of frame looms for like tapestry weaving, and he got me this amazing book about all different kinds of projects for those, so that was awesome. But that's what we usually do. We usually get each other like a book, and then we got a couple of, oh my goodness, my camera's falling. Hold please. Oh my gosh, the tripod cannot come soon enough. Anyway, we got some stuff like for the family as well, like some really cool prints for our dining room. But we don't do, what I'm trying to say is that we don't do a lot of physical gifting. And instead, my dad sent some money. And so anyway, all that to say, I was in a position to be able to buy a bunch of pretty pricey kits, which is something I would not have been in the position to do like even like 5 years ago. But I'm just thankful that I guess that's where we are now. So anyway, all that to say, I bought, in addition to the kits I already mentioned, I bought a few additional kits from the Drawn Thread. And I got a bunch of the garden kits. And so there are 3 that I'm thinking about figuring out, like starting like in this up and through the spring, early summer. And those are the spring garden version. So I'll show it here on the screen. They're not super huge. They're like long and skinny. Long and short? I don't know how to say that. You know what I mean. Anyway, the spring garden, and then I also got the herb garden and the kitchen garden. And they're all from the Drawn Thread, and I got the kits directly from the Drawn Thread. So once those arrive, that'll go into my bin that holds all these things to pick from as I pick new projects. But I'm excited about those. I think I want to put the herb garden and the kitchen garden in my kitchen, and then I'm not sure where the seasonal gardens will go in the house. But again, that'll be a place where I probably rotate through them over the seasons. But I like gardening. I can't do as much as I used to do because I've got some medical issues that impact my joints, and it really, it's too demanding for the issues that I've got going on right now. But I'm excited to have those to kind of remind me of the gardening that I used to be able to do a lot of, and maybe motivate me to do some smaller scale stuff. Okay, so back to what I've got physical kits of. And I'm sorry, I talk really fast. I've always done that. Even as like a teacher, the kids will be like, "Miss, you talk fast." So I try sometimes, especially when teaching, to slow it down, but I talk fast. It is what it is. All right, next set. I think I counted before I did this, and I think I've got 30 total, and we are at 20 right now. So this is potential upcoming start, number 20. This is Spring Snow, which is by Ink Circles. This one looks like this. I don't know if I'll get to this year. I had intended to. It's looking a little wintry. Maybe if we get some more wintry weather, I'll lean that way. It's been not that wintry weather-wise around here. So we'll see if this becomes this year, if this sneaks in this year. It's not like super holiday, which is why I didn't put it in my holiday pattern bag and stash it away. But I don't know. So this is the called for fabric, which is 36 count Dove from Week Style Works. I don't know if this is the called for count. It might be on 32 count, but this is 36. So I am doing it on that, and there's not that many different threads in it. It's like 4 or 5 from Gentle Arts, and I have those on order. So they should be here. I thought I had them, but I don't. So I had to order those. They should be here soonish. That's that one. And things are falling down behind me. So then next is for, what is going on here? Oh, I'm out of order. The next is for thee. This is a freebie, I believe, from Lila's studio. I believe that is the case, that it's a freebie on her website. I will link that below in the description so that you can find it yourself if you want. I'm going to change the lettering a little bit. So I'm thinking that I will do, instead of live, love, laugh, which is just not me, I think I'm going to change that to love is patient from here, and then just have love is kind in this motif. And then this one I'll keep as love never ends. So it'll be love is patient, love is kind, love never ends. Yeah. So this I'm going to do on 40 count platinum linen, which is this, and it only calls for 4 colors. So I've got those. They're not on a ring or anything, but they are super pretty. So it's from the Gentle Art, it's Blackboard, and then also from the Gentle Art is Cherry Arc, and then, I guess they're all Gentle Art, and then Old Red Paint and Antique Rose. So super, super pretty for this pattern. And like, I'm not really, I wouldn't consider myself a religious person. Like, I don't attend church regularly or anything like that. But I do love this verse, and it was part of what we did regularly, like in our ritual in the sorority that I was a member of in college, which was Kappa Alpha Theta. So that's meaningful to me in that regard. Oh my goodness, stuff's still falling. Okay, continuing on. So the next one has 2, maybe 3 in the same bag. So the primary one that caught my eye for this is from Such Small Seeds, which is another ink circles design. So it's this one. And I especially love this, oh gosh, this one with the green leaves. It reminds me of like collards or like, yeah, something like that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this one or not, but I'm definitely going to do this one. So this is, was designed for a particular set of threads from Cottage Garden Threads. And so I did go ahead and order the called for Cottage Garden Thread set, which is this one. I think I got this from Top Knot. Super, super pretty. So I ordered those, and I'm going to do this on 36 count flax linen. And then it came with a free chart from the Blue Flower from the Needlework Expo 2022 called Blanket Flower that also uses these threads. So I think I'm going to potentially do that as well. I'm not going to show you the chart. I think you might be able to get it for free online, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to show you. And then I also ordered, when I ordered the threads at the same time, I ordered this from the Tiny Modernist from the same Autumn Garden palette series. So all 3 of those use the same set of threads. So I'm for sure going to do the from Such Small Seeds. That's going to be the first one I do from these ones. And then I think the second one I do will probably be the Blue Flower freebie. And then I may do this one. I'm not 100% sold yet on it, but maybe we'll see. But that's my plan. So all of these live in the same project bag together. And they may not all fit. I think only maybe 2 will fit on this particular cut of fabric, but I do have more of this fabric should I decide to do more than 2. So that's in the project bag. It's just listed as From Such Small Seeds by Ink Circles, but it's got all of those different patterns from that series or whatever together. So then next is Horsing Around by Little House Needleworks. This is another one that's kind of Christmassy, but also like not just, it's more like wintry, I would say. This is it. And it's from the Farmhouse Christmas series. So I've seen other people make the whole series, and it's really pretty. It is not my style. I live in the city. I don't have farmhousey style in my house, really. Maybe just like in the subtlest way in some areas, but in general, no. But I did used to ride as a kid for many, many years. So I love the horse in this particular design. So this is another one where I want to make 2. One as a gift for some family members who live on a horse farm, and one to keep. I don't know if I'll get to it this year or not, TBD, but it did not get put away because it's more wintry than Christmas, in my opinion. I am going to do it on, this is 36 count raw natural linen. it is left over from my tiny towns that I did, that I've shown in my Flosstube videos. I think I have more of it as well. And then these are the called for Classic Colorworks threads. So very pretty. I think it'll be a pretty quick stitch. It's only 63 stitches square. So I think that might be a good little palette cleanser in between some bigger projects. Coming towards the end. Oh gosh, coming towards the end. Okay, running out of spots nearby to stick stuff. Put it over there. Okay, so the last one that I have a bag of to show you is these two, which are two of the Statehood Splendor series from Thread Milk. So I have Pennsylvania and Washington. I grew up in Seattle, so I have one Washington, and then I now live in Pennsylvania, and my husband is from Pennsylvania. So those are the two states that I selected, and we've got other stuff around our house that is state specific, like maps primarily, but some other like posters and things like that. So I thought these would be fun additions, and they're teeny little smalls, so should be pretty quick projects. I'm going to do them on 36 count Aspen linen, which is this. And then I have all of the threads except for, that Valdani that I mentioned when I was showing you my spreadsheet is for this project. So these are the rest of the threads between the two projects. So they're not all, like I think of these ones are for Washington and these two are for Pennsylvania. But I put them on the same organizer. I don't know why I put them on this giant organizer, but I did. And you can see I only pulled a little bit of DMC because they're so small. So I didn't want to pull like a ton of DMC from my stash to put on here if I wasn't going to use it. Oh, this is Fathom, so this is not DMC. This is actually not DMC either. Anyway, I didn't want to pull a bunch of floss and like kit up with a whole giant skein of floss because they're so small. So I just got some to get started, and if I need more, obviously I'll grab more. So that's these two. I am not going to put the charm on here. I'll see. I might maybe try and squeeze in another tree. Not sure. But those I thought were really cute. Smalls. So those two are in the same project bag. And again, those are from Thread Milk. And then, oh, the last three that I want to show you are kits. These are going to be more crinkly. I'm so sorry. Oh. From Bothy Threads. I think that's how you say it. So these three kits, I think I showed in my first Flosstube video, and they're minuets, which are small, duh, and it says finished size is 10 by 10 centimeters on this 28 count. I'm just going to do them with the kitted everything, and yeah, some more in the boat themes, and then this one I saw, I think, on Instagram and thought it was so pretty, so I'm going to do that one too. So these three kits are the last set of things in my like first 6 months of 2024 potential plans. So all of the stuff that I just showed you is going to live in a plastic, clear, like acrylic bin that I got just from Amazon. I use those for storage for I have a bunch of different sizes. So I have like a couple that my sewing patterns live in because they just stand up nicely. And again, I can see them, got to see things to remember they exist. And then I have another one that all of my kind of kitted up quilt patterns and fabrics live in. And then I've got the one that my kitted up cross stitch projects live in. So that's where these will be. And again, I'll just be able to, once I'm ready to start a project or I'm feeling like that itch, I'll be able to go and look at my spreadsheet, figure out which one I want to start, grab it from the bin and get right into it because I'll have the supplies that are needed right there. So I am excited to have this all organized and ready to go. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. And if you made it this far, hopefully you like hearing me ramble about cross stitch. So maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to hear what your plans are for 2024 in either cross stitch or your other crafts that you work on. So feel free to throw that into the comments, and I'd love to chat with you about that. And next up, I'm going to have my next Flosstube will be in about 2 weeks. That's my planned schedule, is about every 2 weeks to do a Flosstube. And then I also have a plan to do another Flosstube Extra sometime in the upcoming weeks that will be showing you the like notebooks and planners that I use to keep track specifically of primarily cross stitch, but any other kind of craft fiber arts projects I might do as well. So stay tuned for those. And if you hit subscribe, you'll see when they come up. And have a great, healthy, happy new year. Have a wonderful 2024. And I hope that I see you soon. Bye.